you were raised in Sweetgrass
Yeah, we grew up in Sweetgrass, like since I was 5.
till
Yeah.
high school was done?
Yeah. And then I went to the same college Kendall went to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one was that again?
Keano College in Fort
Keanu.
McMurray.
Keanu.
Keano.
Keanu.
Yeah.
Keanu College.
Keano. Yeah.
Fort Mac.
Yeah. I know it's confusing because his son's name
Yeah.
Keanu.
Yeah.
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 Is did that college have volleyball?
Yep. Um yeah, it was really weird how it worked out. Are we starting or not yet?
I mean, like not officially,
Oh, okay.
but it has it
Yeah,
is on. It's on.
I'll tell you the random story.
Sure.
So when I was like, I want to say 16, we used to go to Chittick actually quite a bit to play in like res tournaments, and me and my brother we'd play co-ed, and then we made friends with like a lot of the people from Chittick. So then we kind of would combine and make a team together. And then there was this one teacher there, um, Trent Mason, his name is. He mentioned that he was gonna be going to coach at Keano College. And then he was like, he kept talking to me and Kendall, mostly Kendall because Kendall was going to be graduating.
Mm.
And yeah, so he like basically scouted us from like a res tournament,
Cool. That's
which
cool.
was so weird because like
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to play club like when I around the age that I was playing a lot. Kendall did play club. It just happened to work out that particular season, like for him to play. There was like funding and stuff available. Yeah, but yeah, I didn't play club, and club is like usually where players will get scouted to go and play like college or university ball. So I got scouted at a res tourney.
Just random, eh?
Yeah, it was super random. Yeah, but so yeah, I went there. I was only there a year though. I didn't have the greatest experience. Um, on the team, I learned a lot of that like technical, side of the sport, and learned how to play middle really well. I was like probably the shortest middle in the ACAC. It was crazy, like how hard it was to, try to compete with other middles that were like 6 feet tall.
Right.
But yeah, I got like in really good shape, gained a lot of confidence just from, improving as an athlete. And then um when was it? Was it the next year? No, two years later, I want to say. Yeah. So my third year of university, I came here and I tried out for the Huskies and I made the team. But
Cool.
that was like a completely different experience. Again, not so good, unfortunately. I experienced a lot of racism
Hmm.
during my very short month on that team, like practicing and training. And it got to a point where I ended up getting injured during a practice, but I just never wanted to go back. I never made that effort to like reconnect with the coach or anything like that because I didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was a lot. Yeah.
Like from the team, from the other players?
From the players.
Wow.
From the players. Yeah. At the time the coach was I think she was Chinese. Yeah. And then she had a few like assistant coaches. But yeah, from the coach like the coaches were awesome. They made me feel welcome and everything. But like when you're on a team, especially at that level, you want to feel welcome by your own teammates, right? You
Right.
want to feel like you belong. And I never felt that. It was like more of a non-existent feeling. Yeah.
Were you the only Indigenous player?
Oh yeah. The only visibly Indigenous player.
Right.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
So that would have been like 20 years old, 22,
I was 20.
20?
Yeah, I was 20 at the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, before we keep going,
Mhm.
if you wanted to just introduce yourself,
Yep.
what you do, what you're about, and then we can go on.
I never know what to say when someone like it's like, okay, your turn, Kendra, like to introduce myself because I do a lot of things and it's like it's always changing.
Right.
But I guess I'll just introduce myself how I normally do. My name is Kendra Weenie. I'm originally from Sweetgrass First Nation. That's where I grew up. But I've been living in Saskatoon for like 16, 17 years off and on. And I'm a speaker, author, and workshop facilitator. I'm the founder of the Indigenous Women's Empowerment Summit, the Nichigear sports camps, and right now I'm coaching uh, a lot of youth volleyball girls teams. Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yes.
So how do you have so how do you have time for all of these?
Well, the my trick is because I'm a single mom. I've been a single mom since my daughter was born. She's 12 now. I
Wow.
do a lot of I create a lot of events and opportunity where she can also be involved. So with the Indigenous Women's Empowerment Summit, uh, she was a volunteer last year. That was the first time I really tried to get her involved, just because it's like the event itself is also a really great way to mentor the younger generation. So I created 2 months before this last event, I created Indigenous Girls, what did I call it? Indigenous Girls Empowerment Group, I think is what I called it. So girls age 11 to 14 that were Indigenous. We met biweekly, and then kind of like the wind up or wrap up for that group was an opportunity to volunteer at the summit. And so
Cool.
it was awesome. That was like the highlight for me of this last year's event. So I'm continuing that in the fall. And of course my daughter is a part of that. My niece Kaylee's a part of that. And it just kind of it also opened my eyes up to like the impact that we as adults can have, or just like older people can have on the younger generation, just by providing opportunity, providing a safe space, providing mentorship. Like it's
Mm,
such a heartwarming feeling.
right.
Yeah. So yeah, that anything that I can do to help keep my daughter active and like get her to I guess, grow as a person, grow more confidence, grow leadership skills. I try to create those opportunities.
It's-
Yeah,
It sounds like she'll be on here next.
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know if she would say yes like tomorrow, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
That's
think
cool.
eventually, yeah.
It's cool too to see as like as a single mother
Mhm.
and entrepreneur
Mhm.
and kind of like being able to combine them both
Mhm.
because I feel like that stops most people from getting
Mhm.
started. They're scared because they don't know how to start when they have maybe a kid at home, or
Mhm.
they don't want to put their kid in daycare too much. Like they just want to find that balance.
Mhm.
So to be able to find things you love and just bring your daughter with you,
Mhm.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Um yeah, even like starting out my entrepreneurship journey was so scary. It was so
mm,
scary. But I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in my book. If not, like I talk about it often. The positive impact that and guidance that Kendall had on me, because he's always been like this huge support for me, especially after becoming a single mom. So after what I had gone through, like with my daughter's dad, he started encouraging me. At the time, it was a little too soon because it was like 2 years, 3 years after it happened. So my daughter was only like 2, 3 years old. He encouraged me to like start sharing my story. And I was like, no way, no way. Mostly because I was scared. But then there was this one conference that I was asked to be part of the panel. And one of the questions that we got asked was, what was it? It was like to talk about a challenge that we've had to overcome to get to where we are today. And I was like, oh crap. Okay, I can't avoid it. I can't not talk about escaping an abusive relationship, because that was the biggest challenge that I had to overcome in the last 5 years, at that time. So I talked about it. I took Kendall's advice and I talked about it, and I bawled up on stage in front of like 500 strangers, mostly strangers. It was such an uncomfortable, experience being up on stage and talking about that and being vulnerable. But I just felt this like huge weight lifted off my shoulder after, and it was kind of like a sign for me to just keep doing it, keep sharing, keep being vulnerable. So I did, and that's kinda what started my entrepreneurship journey. I was, I believe I was either teaching or at Sask Sport at the time, I can't remember. I wanna say I was at Sask Sport. Anyway, it was, about a year, just under a year later is, like, kinda when I decided, "Okay, well, I'm gonna be a speaker." I'm gonna, facilitate youth workshops, youth self-care workshops, and I I quit my job, like, that was scary. Just, having to have all of this faith in yourself for one, to that you can, like, make a living, an honest living doing, something you're really passionate about,
Did you
and
did you, like, set up workshops and then quit, or did you just
I
quit and wing it?
well, I had this, really big one lined up. It was my first big, like, opportunity, and, it was in Quebec
Mm,
in a community in the north, like a reserve in the north, and then right after that, or not long after that, I had another one in Northern Ontario. It was like a fly-in community. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can, like, travel across Canada and do speaking and workshops and whatnot," and so I was, like, super pumped initially, and then self-doubt kinda crept in, like, not even half a year later, because I was still, like, doing lots of healing and, working on myself, and, um, I ended up I was working at Kendall's store at the time, so I kinda, like, had that to fall back on at the time because he had the Nietzsche gear store, for a while, and then, after a while, I was like, "Okay, I gotta, you know, create opportunities for myself." One thing that I remember doing, um, from a fairly young age actually is, being good at creating events, hosting events and, taking the reins and doing everything myself. Like, that's one thing that I've been doing for a long time. And so I started, even if I didn't have a booking one month, I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna host a workshop, I'm gonna do this." And so, it's been really, it's been really difficult. Like, you probably know that too as an entrepreneur. Like, uh, it's not an easy journey, and it really helps to have support people.
mm.
I kinda lucked out and have, a really supportive brother that, provides a lot of guidance, when I am struggling. But I wanna share this one story actually, um, and it was oh, shoot, what year was it? I wanna say it was, like, 3 years ago. I was gonna quit. In my mind, I was like, "I'm not doing this shit anymore, like, it's too damn hard." But also it was, like, lateral violence. The one thing about, um excuse me, sorry, I need a drink. Whenever I start talking about, like, something really difficult, my throat gets really dry. It's really weird. Um, so I started experiencing lateral violence that just kinda blindsided me, right? Because the the women that I began or the demographic that I started to serve at that time was mainly Indigenous women. And I noticed that when I would be speaking at an event or hosting a workshop, it was mostly women, like 40, 45 plus, Indigenous women. And I started to trigger the shit out of them. And again, like that kind of blindsided me, right? Because I I was everything I do, excuse me, everything I do is like from the heart, right? It's from the heart. I I'm okay with being vulnerable. I'm okay with, like, just being myself and honest when I'm talking to a group of people, especially when it's about, like, healing and trauma and just wanting to, help my own people. But, the thing that I wasn't prepared for was, like, the lashback that I got from that, because there are a lot of people, again, as I'm sure you know, Indigenous people that aren't quite ready for that next step yet. They're not ready, excuse me, they're not ready to, start their healing journey. They're not ready to acknowledge, the trauma that they've gone through, the pain that they've had to endure. They're not ready to leave that toxic relationship, so when you come into their community or their space as an individual who's on your healing journey, who's helping yourself, who's, practicing self-care every day, and even if you're trying to help them, you have good intentions, you're going to trigger people. That's what I wasn't ready for. So I was ready to quit because I'd had enough. I was like, I don't want to take this. It doesn't make sense that the women that I'm wanting to help are the ones that are being cruel, mostly online. It was mostly like through social media. And so I applied for a couple jobs, and I had this interview lined up at the university. It was a pretty good job. I was like, "Oh, I'm so pumped." And so I had this or this interview lined up, and my interview was like the next day, but um that particular day I had a Zoom meeting with I want to say CBC Radio. I think it was CBC Radio. This woman that was a host from Regina. She set up this meeting with me, and it was to do with International Women's Day, because I had been featured on CTV and through the government of Saskatchewan, I think, that year. And so I was getting a bit of attention at the time, but then I was like, also ready to quit. I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done with this. And then we started the Zoom meeting, and it was me and this woman, this host, and then there was another person on there, and I couldn't really like, there was no video, it just showed words, but I couldn't see all the words. It was kind of cut off. It's like, oh, okay. And then she came on and she said hi to me, and I was like, oh, hey, hi, how are you doing? And then she said, oh, so I wanted to introduce you to someone that wanted to say hi. And I was like, okay. Just kind of got like creeped out because I was like, I wish she'd told me ahead of time. I hate being put on the spot.
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, just be polite, In the back of my mind, I was like, okay. And and then she came on the screen, and I was like, oh my God, I know that woman. I recognize her. Oh my God, I saw her on TV. Like I recognized her, but the name didn't really uh it didn't really like come to mind at the time. And then she was like, "Oh, hi, Kendra. My name is I'm uh, Governor General Mary Simon." And she was like, "I just wanted to, congratulate you and thank you for the work that you're doing."
Mm.
And then she started to, kind of elaborate on just like giving me praise for my work with women and my feature with the government of Saskatchewan. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have an interview tomorrow. What the heck? I was like, okay, I get it. Like I knew that it was a sign. I,
Mhm.
I had I had been like praying for a sign. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna cancel my interview. Gosh, like that was pretty it was pretty in your face,
Yeah.
like yeah. So um yeah, like if you're listening right now and you're a struggling entrepreneur, wondering if you're on the right path, or not even just an entrepreneur, just like if you're struggling, right?
Mhm.
If you're struggling, one thing that I've always turned to is prayer, praying. Just pray really hard to Creator or whoever it is you pray to, and ask for a sign, and then pay attention, because usually, even like now that I am am on my healing journey and pray often and, ask for signs and whatnot, it's usually like something that's just in your face. It's like within a day, usually I'll get an answer to something that I've prayed for.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that because
Yeah.
it was like a really, I was just shocked. I was shocked, but it was like a huge sign that I shouldn't quit.
Right.
Yes, it's probably gonna be hard because, like I said already, like a lot of people aren't ready to heal.
Yeah.
But it's when you're in a like any sort of helping field, I think it's difficult regardless.
I think
Yeah.
like from what I've noticed, with even just like in the short time I've been doing this,
Mhm.
I've had high level athletes on,
Mhm.
I've had mental health advocates on, I've had powwow dancers, other speakers, and every single one of them has mentioned that lateral violence.
Mhm.
And it's like it gets super unfortunate, in the indigenous community that happens so often in almost every area.
Mhm.
Um, but how would we start changing that cycle? How would we even where do we even start
That's a
to break a cycle like that?
that's a really good question. Um, I think a lot of people need to very similar to healing, because it's all about healing, right?
Right.
Um, Focus on your own healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge the shit that you've been through. Acknowledge your traumas, acknowledge your pain, your hurt, allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. Um, it's an individual thing because we can't change people, right? We can't change people who are violent, who are abusive, who engage in lateral violence, right?
Okay, okay.
We can pray for them,
Yeah.
but we can't change people, right? So it's that's a really tough one. Uh, I think if you're someone like me who hosts a lot of things, especially like youth functions, youth events, focus on creating safe spaces for the people that are going to be there.
Mm,
So, for example, I highlight when I host youth sporting events, mostly volleyball tournaments. I'll let people know ahead of time we have a zero tolerance policy for lateral violence. That means if you do it, you're gonna be probably kicked out of the gym.
right.
And if you don't listen, then guess what? Your team has to leave. You have to enforce strict policies when you're hosting events and whatnot so that you're creating a safe space for the people that are going to be there. Um I wish FSIN sporting events I'm just gonna say it because I've been wanting to say it publicly for since I was like 15 or 14 or whatever, whenever I started playing FSIN soccer, because it's brutal.
Yeah.
People don't realize that you're a role model, whether you like it or not. There's
Hmm.
always someone that looks up to you, right? And so I wish sporting indigenous sporting events would ban drugs and alcohol. And if you smell marijuana, go and address the issue ASAP because there are always kids around. There's
Right.
always families with kids at every single indigenous sporting event. And then same thing with the zero tolerance for lateral violence. I wish people would enforce that at their sporting events. And I say sports specifically because there's always hundreds of people at
Yeah.
indigenous sporting events, right? I'm sure you've participated too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
yeah.
I even just this year, I had a friend who like just got verbally attacked by like a whole group of people, like started chanting and stuff, and it was just like it's weird that nothing is enforced or there's nothing. They just let it happen.
That's what I mean. It's whoever is hosting something should address it ASAP. Don't wait until an hour later, half a day later. Like, it needs to be addressed on the spot.
Mm.
And the thing with that too, though, is a lot of people struggle with communication and emotion regulation. But again, that comes with healing, right? So it's like,
Hopefully, hopefully.
yeah, hopefully, hopefully. But with like enforcing those strict policies, you have to have someone in charge who is emotionally regulated, right?
Right.
Can speak to someone in a calm tone and not just yell back at them or swear back at them. Um, and yeah, it's just like that's a pretty loaded question. Like, how do we stop it,
Yeah.
right?
I guess for you talking about like the importance of working on yourself. So for you personally, how do you're in a lot of these environments, the sports world, you do a lot of work with youth, and I'm sure you do a lot of like sharing circles and things like that. So how do you balance like protecting your own energy while dealing with other people's trauma?
Um, I've actually started limiting the amount of that type of work that I do.
Mm,
I found that that's helped because I started noticing that when I'd get home, I would be exhausted for
right,
the entire following week. And so lately my focus has been on youth, like sports. I'm going to be hosting a youth a girls empowerment workshop, and because I feel like making more time for the things that like give you energy, that get you excited, that give you life, give your life meaning, that should be priority. That should take priority over the things that drain you. And
right,
unfortunately, the work that I was doing for a few years got to be a bit too draining, so I just limit it now. I limit the amount of that type of work engagement that I take on.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably like an empath to some level. Just like feel what other people are feeling.
Yeah, I don't oh, it's exhausting.
Yeah,
It really is. Like, because when I work with people that are hurting, or I could tell right away if they're hurting or not, right? And I just I just really wanna help them feel better. I really wanna be, like, a safe space for them. I really want them to open up to me, even if they only do it that one time and they don't really talk about it anymore. Like, when I'm present with, adults like that, like, I'm really there for them, I'm really present, and so that takes a lot of energy.
right.
Yeah. Whereas with kids, I I don't get offended if a kid yells at me, like, or if they're,
Yeah, yeah,
like, verbally abusive to me, because, like, right away, I understand them. I understand that, oh, they must be going through a lot at home, or
right,
maybe they didn't even get any sleep last night, or, like, whereas with adults, um, I'm not quite there yet where I have a lot of empathy that I can just let things go right away,
mm,
because 99% of the ones who do that are older than me, Like, I wanna respect older people, but when they don't
yeah.
reciprocate it, it's like, yeah, it gets to be really challenging.
Give them one
Yeah.
of these.
Yeah, I need to go to one of your classes.
Learn how to throw hands.
Yeah.
Something I was gonna ask you, and it's kind of jumping back,
Mhm,
but before I forget, when you said you first spoke, and you said you were afraid, you were scared to speak because of the situation you were in.
mhm.
So were you more scared of it getting back to him, or were you more scared of what people would think of you for going through that?
I think it was both. I still had a lot of fear, um, towards, like, my ex at the time, because I was just kind of, uh I was doing a lot for myself, but at the time, it, like, still wasn't enough.
Mm,
And so when you're not doing enough for yourself, like, you get your anxiety kinda takes over sometimes, and then that's, like that goes hand in hand with, like, fear, right? Being scared, anxiety and fear. And, so I remember having a lot of anxiety.
Mm,
Part of it was, like, the job that I had, but also, the fact that I lived in the city, where he abused me, like, we lived here together, and he knew way more people than I did here, and, what if he was, like, asking people to look for me? Like, there was just,
right.
like, that paranoia still 4 years later, I was still paranoid. And so it was, that, him finding out and then, like, having to face repercussions or whatever, but, also fear of judgment. I cared so much what others thought of me at the time too, like, a lot, too much.
Right.
And so that was it was a bit of both. Yeah, I would say.
So for somebody who is kind of stuck there, maybe stuck in a situation like that, or just leaving it, or and they're trying to find like what do you think is like a realistic first step for people to kind of get out of that situation or move away from it?
Getting out of, an abusive relationship?
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people get trapped in that fear of like, I can't leave. Like, I'm scared to leave. I'm scared to talk to anybody. So, what is like that realistic first step?
Um Oh my goodness, that's a tough one because
Yeah,
'cause I've heard so many stories and every situation's different, like, some women have no money at all, like, they rely on their abusive partner. Some live in the North, they don't have transportation, there's no shelters in the North, so it's like I've heard, like,
right.
almost every single type of challenge. Um, I'd probably have to have, like, 10 different answers for that. But
I'm
I
just,
would I would say the first step is acknowledging that it's wrong. Acknowledging that it's wrong and that you don't deserve it.
mm,
Because a lot of women who are trapped in that, they can't admit that to themselves. For me, I don't know if I would have left as early as I did. For me, it was 14 months after we started seeing each other, and our daughter was just a week old. And it was because of my daughter's existence that I made that decision to leave. But it was also, um, the fact that my mom was able to leave her abusive relationship, So I I was really fortunate at the time, like, I mean, I should word that a little differently. Not fortunate that I went through it, obviously, but fortunate for, having a place to go because I ended up going to Sweetgrass. We were living in North Battleford at the time when it happened, and Sweetgrass is, like, 25 minutes from the Battlefords. So I was able to go and stay with my mom. Even that, like, a lot of women don't have that, right? They'd have to go stay at a women's shelter because there's nowhere else. If there's even room at the women's shelter, right? And a lot of, shelters give you a limited amount of time there. So, like, some are a month, some are, like, 2 weeks. Um, I'm not really sure if it's based on, you know, how many are there at the time or, anything like that. Maybe resources, I'm not sure. But, they're quite strict when you're in there. You have to you have to, even if you're all battered and bruised and hurting, you have to, like, help keep the place clean. You have a designated time where you have to cook for everyone. My daughter was 8 days old, and I had to do all this while trying to nurse her, and my my face was, like, half swollen and, like,
right.
yeah, it was a lot. Or actually, no, not I think I went there when she was, like, 2 weeks old, but yeah, it was rough. Yeah, so I think, like, the situation is different for everyone,
Mhm.
and it's people have to have a lot of empathy for someone in an abusive relationship. Even if that woman isn't really, like, the greatest person themselves, doesn't have the greatest character, they still don't deserve that kind of treatment,
Right.
right? Yeah, so, yeah, it's different for everyone, but I would say, back to your question, the first step, definitely acknowledging that it's wrong. It's not right. A lot of people, they don't even realize that because they witnessed abuse as children. Abuse is a learned behavior.
Mm.
They witnessed abuse, they experienced abuse, so they're just kind of caught up in that same cycle that they know or they knew growing up. Yeah, so yeah, it's
And you said that happened to your mother
yeah,
too, and you witnessed that?
yeah.
So
Well, actually, um, I don't know if I witnessed, like, the physical stuff, but I
right.
probably witnessed the verbal for sure, verbal and
Mm.
emotional abuse. Yeah.
So did you at any point in the relationship feel like this is just how our relationship is? Or did you always feel like this is wrong?
Um, I honestly had never really experienced what healthy was in
Right.
any past relationship before my ex, like, none. A lot of them, had, like, alcohol addiction or, after we broke up, I'd found out that they were actually addicted to drugs, and that's why they behaved the way they did, but I didn't grow up around drug addicts, so I didn't even know what that looked like, so, yeah, I didn't like, it was just, my relationships leading up to that one, it was it was almost, like, inevitable that I would end up with someone like that, just because of the path that I was on at the time,
Mm.
meaning, um, desperate for a man,
Right.
desperate for a man to help me feel loved. That's kinda where I was at age 24 when I met my ex. Yeah.
So what did you go through to help you discover self-love?
Um, oh my gosh. Another loaded
Yeah,
question.
I know. 'Cause
Um,
that's a tricky one. Like,
that
loving
is.
yourself is it's hard because, like, self-awareness is hard. Like, it's hard to look at yourself and even know what you like and what you don't like and what you should like and why it matters so much.
Mhm.
It's like, I feel like when I look at somebody's situation, I have so much awareness, like, I'm like, "Well, that's easy," you
It's
know?
easy when you're an observer,
Yeah,
right?
but then
Yeah.
for myself, if someone asked me, like, "What are your flaws? Like, what do you need to work on?" Like, I always am like, "Ah, that's tricky,"
Yeah.
'cause I need someone else to tell me.
Yeah. Um, I would say the thing that has really helped me in the last year with that is keeping to myself,
Mm,
because when I keep to myself, and I know it's not healthy to, like, be home every day or anything. People need, a social life too. People need other people to, like, um, feel a sense of belonging and whatnot. Um, but I'd rather, stay home than, like, go to a social outing or, like, a powwow or, like, I'd rather
right.
just stay home and just take time to be with myself and, uh, whether that's just me or me and Kalea, and I find that having a lot of time to myself, over the last year has really helped with that, like, self-love and self-compassion especially. Because as soon as you're around other people, as soon as you start listening, to the noise, then you start comparing your life to others, right?
Right.
It's just like this inevitable human trait that we have, especially women. I find women tend to be, like, quite, a little too competitive,
Mhm.
and so, yeah, just is taking more time than I did, all the other years of my healing has really helped with, like, self-compassion.
Do you think that, like, goes hand in hand with like battling trauma. Like, you have to see yourself in a good, like, you have to see that you deserve more,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just gonna stay maybe in a bad situation because you
Yeah.
don't even believe that you deserve better, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, taking care of yourself, um, every day.
Hmm.
Every day, like, self-care is like an everyday thing, it has to be, and you have to make it so that it is, so that you don't get to a point again where you feel worthless, you feel like you don't deserve a good life or a good partner or whatever it is. So, even if there are days where I'm like, "Ugh, I don't want to eat that healthy eat that healthy sandwich. I wanna eat
Get
this fried chicken
those
here."
carrots away
Yeah.
from me.
Like, there are days where I'm like, "No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you, self-care." Like but that's fine too, right? That's fine too. Another thing with being alone a lot this past year when I'm not, like, doing work engagements or coaching or whatever, um, I've I've gained a lot more empathy to myself and my own healing and my own journey, and I find that, I don't I or I try my best not to anyway, compare my life to others, compare my situation to others. Um,
Just give yourself some more grace.
yes, I've learned to give myself a lot more grace,
Mm,
and it's really helped because now that I've done that, and now that I am out more, now that it's volleyball season, so I started, playing league. I'm not as, like, self-conscious as I was, a couple year and a half ago. Like, just you learn to give yourself grace when you're comfortable being alone with yourself.
right.
Yeah.
So when you wrote your book,
Mhm.
were you how long ago was that?
Oh my gosh. 6, just over 6 years ago. It's crazy.
So were you like right in the middle of your healing journey? Or
Yes.
were you at the beginning? Or
I was, I wanna say shoot, 5 years in?
okay.
5 years in.
Do you ever go back and look at it?
I haven't in a long time, but, once in a while, I will refer back to certain parts of it, like, if I'm doing a youth presentation, for example, I might, like, refer back to, "Oh, in this chapter, I talk about this," and then, just if I feel like it's something that's gonna help them.
Right.
Yeah, but I haven't read through it in years.
Yeah. I wonder
Yeah.
I I wonder if you read it, well, there probably would be parts that you don't think that way anymore. Or maybe you've like totally let it go now, or you have some forgiveness or more grace for yourself, where you'd read it and be like I don't even think that way anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot, because like, I remember little things that I wrote, right? Like, little, um, things that at the time I thought, "Oh, if I'm gonna forgive this person, this is what needs to happen," you know? Like, things like that, and now I'm like, "No, I wish they wouldn't do that." Like,
Yeah.
I don't really wanna have anything to do with them, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, yeah, there's a lot in there that I wouldn't say anymore, especially, like, with that topic, forgiveness.
Right.
That's one of them. Um, and then but the one thing I did like that I had included was, there was, I can't remember which chapter it is, but I talk about what life would have been like if I had what I needed. Because I used to dream big when I was a kid. I just wouldn't tell anyone. I
Mm,
had these big dreams, and, when, that experience on the university team, I felt like I was fulfilling them, So, yeah, it just things kinda went the other way, unfortunately. Um, but some of those things that I used to dream about, I, like, mention in there. If I had what I needed, this is what would happen. Because that's what it's like for every res kid. Every kid growing up on the res, they them too, they probably dream big and don't tell anyone, right? Because maybe they don't have the greatest support system at home or whatever, or a safe person to tell. Um, and so when I think back to that part of the book that I wrote, I'm like, yeah, that is what would have happened. Like, and then it gets me excited about just like my own parenting and creating opportunities for my daughter and like for other indigenous youth. And yeah, so it's not like I'm dwelling on the past because those things didn't happen, but I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I want other young native kids to dream big too like I did."
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think, like like we talked about before, this is our first time meeting,
Yeah.
which is wild, which is wild. But like you seem amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you seem awesome. Like you seem very genuine,
Thank you.
very kind, very humble. And you're a great speaker, by the way.
Well, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
um, like I just think of like everything you went through just like had to happen to become, this person you are right now, like
Mhm.
a great businesswoman. You're strong, you're confident, and and not that I know, but you're probably an amazing mother,
Mhm.
and heck yeah, I
Yeah.
am. To
Yeah.
do all this while raising a daughter, and I could tell just by your values and how you speak about parenting that you're awesome.
Well, thank you.
So I think people think of like lots of people have like a pretty bad relationship with like failure. Like failure, I guess, is
Mhm.
because I think they don't really understand that you can fail forwards,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
just take that not as like a loss, but just take it as like learning,
Yeah.
and just take it with you to your next whatever your next thing is.
Mhm.
Um, but I guess like you've experienced lots of like hits and obstacles and bumps, and
Mhm.
how did that change your relationship with failure? And how do you, and as a parent and myself being a new parent, we have a 2-year-old and another one on the way. How do you prepare your daughter for failure?
Um,
That was a long question, by
yeah,
the
no,
way.
that's a good one too. You got some great questions.
Thank-
Well, I'll just give you an example, like with the how I prepare my daughter. I I talk to her lots, a lot. I'm very honest with her. I'm very honest with her about my own past experiences at her age, the difficulties that I encountered at her age with peers and family, and like so. I find that that has helped her a lot. I also gave her a copy of my book, and I told her she can read it, whenever. Um, and that's really helped us to become closer, is just having tough conversations often. And as soon as that, like, as soon as they come up, as soon as something comes up that's challenging. Um, and then the other thing is with I don't expect her to love volleyball as much as I did or I do. But I wanted her to experience what a tryout is like, because, man, I did not know volleyball was, like, so hardcore here in Saskatoon.
Mm,
There's so many club teams, and some of them, like, they have hundreds of girls trying out that are under age 13, like, it's crazy. And so I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna let her try out for a team." Um, I don't know that I would, because club's expensive, or I heard it's expensive. I was like, "I don't know if, like, I actually want her to make the team though, because it's expensive, but I just want her to experience what it feels like." And then I had that conversation with her before and right after. It's not a big deal if you don't make the team. Look at how many girls are trying out. You're like one of the only minorities. My daughter is she's half First Nations, half Jamaican. So very visible minority, There were like no, I didn't even see a single First Nations kid trying out, unfortunately, which I heard is often the case at those bigger tryouts. But I was like, I'm gonna take her to try out. I don't care if she doesn't make it. I hope she doesn't care if she doesn't make it.
Right.
And so that was like one of those things that I felt like I had to do at the time. It was very recently actually, where I want her to experience potential or go into a setting where she might not succeed, knowing that she might not succeed. Like, I just want her to try it, because there is no way at age 12, my daughter's 12 now. There's no way at age 12 I would have wanted to go to those trials. I would not wanted to like just show up. It's scary. It's
Yeah.
intimidating. These are girls that are probably trained since they were like able to walk. They just like some of them were like, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she can do that." And she looks like she so young. It's crazy. But yeah, she didn't make the team. We had a conversation about that. I'm like, "Are you upset?" She's like, "Kinda." I'm like, "Well, I told you like it's not a big deal, right? It's not a big deal if you didn't make the team. I just wanted you to experience what a tryout is like. Now you know." Yeah.
That's good.
Mhm.
That's good. It's good because even like with boxing,
Mhm.
it's like the hardest part is getting helping the people I'm coaching understand that. Like, we're gonna go do this boxing match, and if you lose, it's fine.
Mhm.
Like, you want to win. You want to go out there and try as hard as you can. But you've only been training for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, you're not Muhammad Ali in your
Mhm.
first match. So then we're gonna come back and we're gonna learn from your mistakes. We're
Yeah.
gonna get better, and we can go do another one. And some people just never come back. They lose. They take it so hard, and they never come back.
Mhm.
It's like hard
Mhm.
sometimes to like instill that like that feeling forward,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um I still don't know how.
Yeah. It's, well, the one thing I find with, younger people, like, I'm not sure how old the people are that you train and work with, but, with younger people, uh, like my daughter's 12, that 10 to 12 age range, you just gotta hype them up,
Mm,
like, talk to them a lot, communicate lots, as a coach anyway, and just do the best that you can to prepare them, right? So that they like know what they're doing come time for the competition. And then not when they look at you, when they look at you at that age, don't ever have a look of disappointment, like ever,
right.
right? Because you might be the only person that they look up to, the only positive role model in their life, right? As a coach. A lot of coaches are, in that same boat. So with that young of an age, and even the older age group that I coach, I try to be mindful of emotion regulation, right? And so that they know that even if they mess up 5 times in a row, coach isn't gonna be upset. She's just gonna encourage you to keep going, right? To keep trying. Yeah,
Mm,
so, yeah, with, like, team setting, sports setting, it's like the coach is that's such an important job.
yeah.
Yeah.
Building that trust, and
Mhm.
that's a very good that's very it's a good tool.
Mhm.
Just never show like you're disappointed or something. That's
Mhm.
good. Do you have like a coaching style? Do you
Um,
yell? Are you a
I
yeller?
I don't yell at the players.
Yeah, yeah.
I just find that that's I don't know. I don't think I've ever done it, but, like, I wouldn't, I don't think that would be effective with the group that I coach young Indigenous girls.
Yeah.
I do not think that that would be an effective coaching strategy for that
You just shut
that age
down.
group. Yeah. Yeah, if you'd probably make them cry or something. Yeah, but, like, as an athlete, I've yelled at other players.
Right, right.
Other players who were, like, a little too violent on the soccer field or that's completely different.
Yeah.
That's completely different. But as a coach, trying to, you know, uh, encourage the next generation of players, volleyball players or whatever sport it is, like, I just find that, for me, what's worked is just using my intuition, and a lot of the time, it's like, what did you need at that age when you were learning to play? What did you need, um, from your coach who might have been, you know, the only, like, positive influence on your life at the time kinda thing. So, yeah, I would say my method of coaching is, like, very intuitive.
Mm,
Yeah, depending on, like, the group that I get. Yeah.
that's good.
Mhm.
Um, we're coming up to an hour.
Mhm. Oh, that was
That
fast.
was fast. See, you nothing to it.
Yeah.
One more thing I wanted to talk about was just like your camps you run, your Nietzsche gear camps that you run,
Mhm.
and just like how that started.
How it started?
Yeah, how that came about. How did like because Nietzsche gear was clothing,
Mhm.
and then Kendall started speaking, and now they have youth camps. So how did that side come into existence? And you
Um,
pretty much you run all of that.
yeah,
The Nietzsche gear youth camp side.
yeah.
And the clothing?
No, I haven't really done much with the clothing.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
people can still order
Yeah,
in bulk if they wanted for, like, sports teams or events or whatnot.
right.
Yeah, but I haven't really, marketed that side of it yet. That's a good idea, though, like, I should I should do that down the road, like, when I have more downtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Um,
you you wear a lot of hats, so
yeah. Yeah. Like, maybe if I hire an assistant.
yeah.
Um Yeah, so the camps, 2021 was when I first started them, during the Christmas break, and I think it was, one of the several ideas I had during COVID. I I kept having all of these super random ideas, like, during the months of COVID, and that was one of them was, like, hosting, a youth, um a big youth sports camp, like an each year youth sports camp. And I was like, "Well, volleyball, because like, that's my jam, right?"
Mhm.
And, I had coordinated so many other, like, programming and whatnot, so I knew that, like, I could do it if I didn't have help. And, I presented the idea to Kendall, and he's like, "Yeah, do it." Like, he's, he just knows, like, what I'm capable of, so he's like, "Yeah, just do it," like, as if it's
Yeah.
no big deal. Like, "Okay, I don't know how much it's gonna cost or anything, but okay." So I just did it, like, um, set, a fee, I hired some head coaches, and I was like, "Oh, well, they're gonna need assistants, right?" So I hired assistant coaches, I hired, someone to do, hoop dancing because I wanted to incorporate, like, a cultural component. And then, over the course of, like, the next few years, I always tried to add in an extra sport. So, because I wanted kids to be introduced to, like, maybe a brand new sport that they've never tried before so that they know that, "Oh, well, you don't have to just play volleyball," right? You can try maybe you'll like, flag football. We did flag football a couple
Cool.
times. Um Basketball, like, I try to incorporate at least one extra activity. Every single camp we've done traditional games with, an instructor from my community.
Cool.
Um, we usually, again, it's, like, depending on the budget, we have, like, a first aid station. I hire, a relative of mine who's a nurse. And so it's always, like, really well thought out and well planned. We feed the kids, we feed them lunch and snack. They each get an Each a Year T-shirt, and it's just, like, again, just trying to create a safe, welcoming environment for kids to just play, just show up and play. But, like, also they right off the bat, like, I meet with all of them and I let them know what the expectations are. And it's always like number one, respect.
Mm.
Respect. You have to be respectful to your coaches, to each other, you know, encourage each other. This isn't a tryout. You're not competing with each other. You're here to have fun and learn how to play volleyball. Right. So yeah, I've tried to create like a safe and welcoming environment for the kids who attend, and we have a lot of like repeat attendees, repeat participants. Um, we've offered a basketball camp,
Mm.
um, a beach volleyball camp this past August. That one was pretty
Cool.
fun. Yeah, that one was awesome.
Did you
Um,
ever play that?
just for fun. Just for
Okay.
fun. Yeah, it's a very difficult
Yeah.
sport. It's really difficult, but it's really fun. And it's like as you get older, it's nice and easy on the joints, like when you're especially the knees. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like beach volleyball. Um, yeah, and so it's mostly been volleyball, but, like, I hope down the road that we expand and are able to have more offerings.
Cool.
Yeah, more sport offerings. Yeah.
Bring some boxing in.
That'd be you know what? We should do a collab at the
Yeah.
next one, yeah, like intro to boxing.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if anyone says anything to you on the court, throw some hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
probably get kicked out of the gym, but at least you're
Yeah.
you're defending yourself.
You're undefeated
Yeah.
in some way.
Yeah.
Um, cool. Well, that was awesome. Like that was it's fun to get to know somebody on a podcast in real time,
Mhm.
like that's kind of it's funny because Demi has nothing but good things to say about you. She's like,
She's
"Oh,
pretty awesome herself.
yeah.
I love Demi. Yeah.
Yeah." Like when you say you were lucky to have a support system like your brother,
Yeah.
that's what Demi is for me.
Mm.
She's like a huge support that allows me to go, to go to these communities, to go, boxing, to go to the States, and do all
Yeah.
these things that I'm able to do. Like Demi
Mhm.
has a huge hand in that,
Mhm.
and just a good teammate.
Yeah.
So but yeah, she loves you, and she loves your brother.
Awesome.
So it's good to finally get to know you.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, for
This was
sure.
awesome. This
Yes.
is fun.
That
Is
was
there
like the
anything?
most laid back
Yeah,
podcast. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
That's what I go for. Um, there's a lot of people that have been on that have never really done something like this before or like spoken.
Yeah.
And when they come in, I can just see that they're terrified.
Yeah. Yeah. You just,
But
like, put a little water in there.
yeah, some Kahlua. I, but is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to shout out or?
Um, yeah, my next, Women's Summit, the Indigenous Women's Empowerment Summit is March 29th, 2026. Yeah.
Mm, and that's in Saskatoon.
Yeah, it's at the Saskatoon Inn.
Okay,
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
So be there.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks for coming.
Mhm.
You're awesome.